Today, we are going to start a new chapter which completely discusses about responsibilities of auditor relating to fraud. We are completely discussing about a chapter called fraud and responsibilities of auditor. Responsibilities of an auditor. In fact, there is a standard called SA 240. There is a standard called SA 240 which says that, just a minute, I'll keep it in silent mode. Okay, SA 240 responsibilities, auditors responsibilities relating to fraud in an audit of financial statements. I will unmute somebody. Kindly participate with the questions I ask. Let us unmute Nayani. Who wants to participate? Just tell me, let me know. Who wants to? Chakri, can you participate? Chakri, I'm trying to unmute you. Can you participate?
Sir.
Will you be there throughout?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine, Chakri. Okay, so we are going to discuss regarding responsibilities relating to fraud in an audit of financial statements. Don't misinterpret the heading. The heading is not auditor is responsible for fraud. Auditor is responsible for fraud. The heading is not this. The heading is in fact a question. The heading of the standard SA 240 is a question. Auditor's responsibilities relating to fraud when in conducting an audit of financial statements. What are the responsibilities of auditor? What are the responsibilities of auditor relating to fraud? Relating to fraud when while conducting audit of general purpose financial statements. So it's a question. The standard heading itself is actually a question. The standard deals with what are the responsibilities of auditor relating to fraud when conducting audit of financial statements. That is what the standard deals with. The standard do not say, even the heading do not say auditor is responsible for fraud or auditor is responsible to identify all the material mistakes relating to fraud. No, that's not the standard says. The standard is saying what is the responsibility of auditor relating to fraud in an audit of financial statements. That is what the standard says. Just a minute. No. Chakri, are you there? Chakri? No? Muted?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Be alert, Chakri. Okay.
Okay.
Is auditor, my question, first question, is auditor responsible to detect a fraud? First question, Chakri. Is auditor responsible to detect a fraud? What is your answer, Chakri?
Yes, sir.
Even others are saying what answer? Others are saying, let us see. Nitin is saying no. Nitin is saying no. Is auditor responsible? Kirti is saying yes. And you are saying, Chakri, you are saying yes. Again, Sudhir is saying no. So again, it's a mixed answer that we are getting. Mixed answers that we are getting. So the answer is no. What is the auditor responsibility? You see SA 200. That is a basic standard which speaks about overall objective of the auditor. Overall objective of an independent auditor and conduct of an audit in accordance with standards on auditing. If you see that standard, that speaks about exactly the responsibility of auditor. That speaks about exactly the objective of the audit or auditor. It exactly speaks about objective of the auditor. Yes or no, Chakri?
Yes, sir.
What is that objective is saying? What that objective is saying? Auditor is responsible to give opinion. Auditor is responsible to give opinion. The responsibility of auditor, the objective of the auditor is to give opinion on financial statements. As to what? As to what? Whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements. Correct, agree?
Yes, sir.
This is the objective. And once you confirm this, give the opinion through a report. Through a report. How that report shall be prepared as per SA 700 series? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
This is the responsibility of auditor. What is one of the responsibility? You need to confirm, auditor has to confirm whether financial statements are containing material
Misstatements are not.
Now tell me, misstatements are two kinds. Either it can come unintentionally, yes or no?
Yes,
Either
sir.
it can come unintentional or it can come intentional.
Intentional.
Statements in the financial statements are maybe intentional or unintentional. By the way, mistakes can happen in how many ways? It can happen in amount, or it can happen in classification, it can happen in presentation,
disclosure.
In these many ways, the mistake can be done. You may manipulate the amount, or you may manipulate a current asset as non-current asset, or you may show wrong presentation. The format of presentation you may not follow right, or you don't give proper disclosure. If it is unintentionally happened, we classify it as error. If it is intentionally happened, we classify it as fraud.
Fraud. Yes, sir.
Now confirm. Now tell me one point. Auditor should confirm that financial statements are free from material misstatements. Which means auditor should understand. Auditor is responsible to confirm whether financials are not containing
material misstatements.
In other words, auditor has to confirm that the financials are not containing fraud. Can I say this?
Yes, sir.
Why material misstatement? One of the sources is fraud. Now, if you observe the overall discussion now, auditor is responsible. The auditor is responsible to ensure financial statements are free from
material misstatement.
One of the material misstatement is fraud.
Fraud.
Ensure financials do not contain fraud. Ensure financial statements do not contain fraud means auditor should try to identify fraud, right?
Yes, sir.
Try to identify fraud. But if you see the starting sentence, I said no, auditor is not responsible to find a fraud. But if you see the objective of the auditor, misstatement definition, types of misstatement, you will get a conclusion that auditor should try to identify fraud. It's only tried. Why? You see the objective again. Auditor has to obtain
reasonable assurance.
Yeah, exactly. Check. Reasonable assurance. Which means my level of detection of fraud, my level of detection of fraud, the level of try or the level of work should be reasonable. Need not.
Absolute.
Exactly, Chakri. Absolute. I don't have absolute responsibility to find a fraud, but I have a reasonable responsibility to find a fraud. Agreed, Chakri?
Yes, sir.
There is a difference. Sir, what's the difference? You are saying you have a reasonable responsibility to find a fraud, but not absolute responsibility to find a fraud. What does it mean? See, when I'm doing audit, when I get a doubt, see, there is a concept called skepticism. Yes or no? Skepticism. Yes or no?
Correctness of mind.
If you say dictionary, no, it will be C. But we use K. Skepticism, no. What skepticism says? Dear auditor, be alert. What it says?
Correctness of mind.
Never be careless. Don't think everything will be all right in the financial statements. Be alert. Have a questioning attitude. Don't trust anything easily. Whenever something gets to you, some information approaches you, thoroughly investigate, thoroughly look into it, thoroughly identify whether it is correct or wrong. Take all the precautions. That's what skeptical attitude, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So auditor has to maintain skepticism. Auditor has to maintain a skeptical attitude, skepticism. While maintaining skepticism, if you get a doubt, there is something is fishy, something wrong, You felt it, you sensed it. Then investigate. If at all a fraud is there, then identify and report. But tell me, Chakri, will I do audit?
Sir.
Will I do audit with the objective of finding a fraud?
No, sir.
No, I will do audit with a view. Sorry. I will conduct verification. Audit means what? Why you tell me? Audit means what? Audit means verification. Correct?
Verification.
Audit
Yes,
means
sir.
verification of books of accounts and financial statements. My objective is to verify them. Why I am verifying? To know whether they are correct or incorrect. Only with that objective I will find out. So I will take some vouchers. What is there in the voucher? What is there in the invoice? What is there in the books of accounts? What is there in the financial statements? Everything matching or not? That's what I'll try to verify. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
In the course of this process, if I identify any symptoms of fraud, what symptoms of fraud, then I need to investigate and identify. Suppose I'm selecting voucher, sample, everything in a scientific manner. I did not identify any symptom, and I said financial statements are completely correct. And I gave a true and fair opinion, which means unqualified opinion, unmodified opinion, clean opinion I gave. After I gave this report, subsequently after 1 year, company became insolvent, and regulatory authorities, example NFRA, when they investigated back end books of accounts, everything, there are so many frauds happened in the financial year for which I did audit. I did audit for particular financial year called 17-18. Chakri.
Yes, sir.
17-18 I did audit. I gave unqualified opinion. How did I give unqualified opinion? I verified so many vouchers. I have taken big sample. I conducted extensive verification, accounts, books of accounts, vouchers, documents, TDS, GST, whatnot. In every corner I verified.
Yes, sir.
I verified each and every corner of the financial statements. I did not find any symptom and I gave unqualified opinion. I have proof also. If someone questions me, sir, why did you give unqualified opinion? Do you think everything is correct? Yes, everything is correct. I have a proof. I can convince you. That's why the evidence we call it as what? Convincing evidence. In audit, what is the evidence we call? Convincing.
Convincing evidence.
Is what? Persuasive. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The evidence which I have in persuasive. You see my working papers, you see my documentation, you will convince for my opinion. Suppose my documentation you saw. It is not at all convincing for the opinion which I gave. In my documentation, I said so many mistakes are there. In fact, I myself wrote there are so many mistakes are there. And what opinion you gave? I give unqualified opinion saying everything is fine. Which means there is no convincing evidence for you. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
If I have a convincing evidence, now tell me, I have a convincing evidence that everything is true. Even that if some fraud was not detected by me, tell me, can anybody punish me?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because I did my reasonable duty. Correct or not? I did my reasonable duty. If the auditor proves that he is skillful, careful, diligent while conducting the audit, how can you prove that you are skillful? How can you prove that you did work carefully? How can you? That's why we have to documentation. How can you prove that? Documentation.
Yes.
Now, do you understand, Chakri, why we have to detail documentation?
Yes, sir.
Because if tomorrow some problem comes, you have to prove yourself. If you prove that you are skillful, careful, diligent, with the help of your documentation, that you did honestly the audit, in spite of your good efforts, if something wrong happened, how can somebody punish me even if I do my duty justice properly? Now see, tell me, Vamshi, suppose Chakri, if somebody comes and asks you, if somebody is coming and questioning you, what Chakri, what you did? You didn't do proper audit. See, so many frauds were there. How will you defend yourself?
I have performed my work. See my documentation process.
See my documentation process. You will have to explain them. See, Error is different. Error is different. Fraud is different. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The person who committed error doesn't know that he committed error. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Only then it is called unintentional. No. If I know
Yes.
that I did an error and still I ignore it, how come you call it as error? What
Then
is
it is known as fraud.
Ah, exactly. Okay. If a person who committed error doesn't know that he committed error, so this error, no, it may be self-revealing. This may be self-revealing or non-self-revealing.
Non-self-revealing. Yes, sir.
Whereas if it is a fraud, now tell me, any person who commits a fraud, will he commit in such a way that it can be easily identified?
No, sir. It
No,
cannot be identified easily.
he will make sure that it is difficult to identify. He will in
Yes,
fact have a concealment. Yes or no? He will
Yes, sir.
have a concealment. There is a dialogue in Dhruva movie. In Dhruva Taniyoruvan, there is a dialogue. What he will say, no, నేను తప్పు చేయటం కంటే కూడా తప్పుని ఎలా కప్పిపుచ్చాలో ఎక్కువ ఫోకస్ పెడతా. You remember?
Yes, sir.
I give more attention to hiding the mistake rather than committing the mistake.
Yes, sir.
So persons who commit a fraud generally focus on concealment part rather than execution part. Execution is easy, but how to conceal it is difficult. Now tell me, Vamsi, person who committed error, will he conceal it?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because first of all,
And it's unintentional.
exactly. First of all, the person who committed error doesn't know that he committed error. So where is the question of concealment? He won't conceal it. But the person who committed fraud will definitely conceal it. Yes or no? Now
Yes,
tell
sir.
me, Chakri, among these two, which one is easy to identify?
Error.
Error. Yeah, Kirti, right. Error is something which is easy to identify. Why? Because, I mean, I'm talking about general rule. Error is something error is something which do not have any plan of action of concealment. So it is easy to identify. But fraud, even if you try to do a fraud, even if you try to detect a fraud, is it that easy to find?
No, sir.
In fact, Chakri, I can tell you, fraud-related transaction will have a perfect documentation. You know, fraud-related transaction are perfect. See, tell me, Chakri. I want
Yes,
to
sir.
verify one purchase voucher. The company has made some purchase of goods, 15 lakhs. How will I verify? Tell me, how will I verify this for 15 lakhs? Tell me, Chakri. Just think of your, use your intelligence. How will you know whether this 15 lakhs purchase is correct or not? How will you check? What are the documents you check? Tell me once.
Invoice, purchase order, confirmation from the third party.
Invoice. First you will verify invoice. Second one, confirmation from
Purchase order,
seller. No, I am the purchaser.
third party.
Company is a purchaser. You want seller confirmation. Now, what else? Transport.
Physically, we need to verify that.
Physically, they already sold the goods, sir. They already sold the goods also. They purchased and sold. This transaction happened 6 months before. Now you are doing audit. So you will verify transport copy.
Yes, sir.
You will verify GRN, whether the company received goods or not. You will verify GRN copy.
Yes, sir.
We will verify that copy, this copy, store register, everything. But I'm telling you, invoice is fake, third party, whatever he's saying is fake, transport copy is fake, GRN is fake, and everything is fake. But tell me, Chakri, you
Yes,
believe it is a genuine transaction based on this document, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Can you suspect these documents? No?
No, sir.
Why? Because they are authorized, they are
Yes.
stamped, they are officially signed, everything. It appears as if it is genuine. I did not get any doubt. Even if you show this document to somebody, they also believe it.
Yes, sir.
No, but this is completely a fraudulent transaction. It will come out naturally. It cannot be detected easily. So no. See, how to detect a fraud, we will discuss that more in detail in analytical procedure. I will
Yes,
explain analytical procedure so analytically. In that chapter, we will discuss. Now, in this case, tell me, you as an auditor secretary verified everything. In spite
Yes,
of it, you don't know that this is a fraud. Can anybody punish you?
No, sir.
See, suppose, tell me, Mamsi. Now, suppose you verified all this. Actually, in invoice, there is some number. There is some number. Confirmation gave, seller gave some other confirmation number. Transport copy indicates some number. GRN copy indicates some number. None of these numbers is matching. Now, tell me,
Yes, sir.
what should be your response here?
We need to suspect the transaction, sir.
Exactly. What is the thing? You have to suspect. But what you did not, it's okay. You did not suspect it. You said everything is fine. Now tell me, are you negligent?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, can lawmaker punish you?
Yes, sir.
If you are proven negligent, if you are proven that you have not exercised skill, you have not exercised carefulness, you will be punished. When there is a difference, you should be skeptical immediately. Yes or no? You should doubt
Yes,
it. Then you are not responsible. If you did not doubt it, if there is a carelessness, negligence, no skill, nothing, you will be punished. Which means, if someone asks you the question, sir, is auditor responsible for not finding a fraud? For not finding a fraud, is auditor responsible? My answer is 2.
No.
Yes.
2 times, sir.
When auditor is not responsible, if at all he is proven that he is skillful, diligent, and careful. When he is punishable, when he proved that he is not skeptical or not skillful or not diligent or not careful. Yes or no? All of you, Vamshi?
Yes,
Sorry.
sir.
Actually, I spoke to that guy previously. Sorry. Clear, Chakri? Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next. Now tell me some general rules. Some general rules we'll discuss. Now you told me very clearly, fraud versus error. Which one is difficult? Which one is difficult to trace? Fraud. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Next one. Small employee level fraud versus big top management fraud. Which one is difficult to find out?
Big management of frauds.
This is difficult to find. Why? So fraud is a big amount, but why it is difficult to find? In fact, employee did a small amount of fraud. Why big amount of fraud is difficult to detect?
Because management, they have the power to access our books account and they will manage
exactly. A small storekeeper, if at all he steals something, subsequently can be easily detected. But if at all management steals something, they will manipulate the books also. Yes or no? That's
Yes,
why
sir.
it will be difficult. Same, tell me, small amount of fraud versus big amount of fraud. Which one is easy to identify?
Big amount of fraud.
Difficult to identify. Difficult to identify.
Difficult to identify small amount. Sir.
Small one is difficult to identify. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? In the same way, next one. The person who committed fraud. The person who committed fraud. He is very skillful and moreover senior in that field versus a junior in that field. If these two persons commit a fraud, which one is easy to identify? Which one is difficult?
Junior means easy, sir. Senior means difficult, sir.
Are you clear? These
Yes,
are
sir.
general principles. These are general principles. That's it. We covered 1 and 2 questions in the chapter. Over. Okay. So if someone asks you, sir, is auditor responsible for failing to identify fraud? I cannot straight away say yes or no. I have to say, so first understand fraud is something intentional. First understand what is the meaning of fraud, what is the meaning of error. Fraud is something intentional mistake in the financial statement. Error is something unintentional. Fraud will have a concealment plan of action, so it can be concealed easily, so difficult to identify. Further, whether a fraud can be detected or not depends upon the skepticism attitude of the auditor. If the auditor is not skeptical, difficult. If the person who committed fraud is highly intelligent, difficult. If the fraud amount involved is a very small amount, difficult. Number of times fraud committed is less in number, difficult. Yes or no? They say this point in Aparachittu Onion movie. If 5 pies has been stolen, it's not a big thing. If 5 crore people, 5 items, 5 pies have been stolen, it's a big amount. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, a similar thing. So same principles. Okay, so fine. Now let us read what is there in the material. So Chakri, can you read that 7th chapter?
Yes.
Question number 1.
Define the term fraud and discuss the characteristics and types of fraud. Answer. Definition of fraud. As per SA 240, defines the term fraud as an intentional act by one or more individuals among management, those charged with governance, employees, or third parties involving the use of deception to obtain an unjust or illegal advantage.
Yes. So you want to get some advantage which is not justified. Which is not justified. You don't deserve that. You are getting some illegal advantage which is not legal. So it can be committed by whom? Individual. See, a mission cannot do fraud, right? Chakri?
Yes, sir.
Only obviously individuals only can do fraud. Only individuals can do fraud. Among
Yes,
management, those charged with governance, employees, third parties, Now, what are the characteristics of fraud?
Fraud is unintentional. Although the fraud is a
intentional, yeah, fraud is intentional.
sorry, intentional.
Although
Fraud is a broad legal concept and the auditor is concerned only with the type of fraud that causes a material misstatements in the financial statements.
we are obviously not only this type of frauds we are concerned about. In the context of audit, fraud means only the see. Maybe Indian Penal Code fraud definition is different. Yes or no?
Yes,
Suppose in the company, some data, company has some data. That data has been stolen by one hacker. Okay, because
Yes.
of that, company future may suffer. Company may suffer in future. But tell me, if the hackers steal that data in the company server, will it affect balance sheet P&L?
No, sir.
No. Is auditor bothered about that type of fraud?
No, sir.
But you need to see whether that kind of incident impacts going concern of the company. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Impacts going concern. Suppose that fraudster, whoever hacked into the server of the company, steals that data where company entire future project related information is a big project. If at all that project has not yet come to the hands of the company has to liquidate. If that is the information, if it is impacting going concern indirectly impacts financials. Now I'm concerned about it.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, am I concerned about that hacking related part?
No, sir.
No. Yeah. Next types of frauds.
Types of fraud. Fraudulent financial reporting. Intentional misstatements like omissions, misrepresentations, misappropriation of assets, threat or unauthorized usage of entities' assets.
So the standard divides frauds into two types. Fraudulent financial reporting, misappropriation of asset. I've told you this in the beginning, fundamentals chapter. Fraudulent financial reporting means you are manipulating balance sheet P&L. Misappropriation of assets means assets you are misusing. You are misusing or you are stealing them. Getting it? Or you are taking the company cash. You are using it for personal purpose. So this is misappropriation of asset. How fraudulent financial reporting affect balance sheet, how misappropriation affect balance sheet, I will tell you later after completing the second question. We'll discuss. Clear one? Clear, Chakri?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, note point.
As per SA 240, the auditor responsibilities relating to fraud in an audit of financial statements.
So that's actually it's nothing but SA 240 heading. I'm just giving the heading of SA 240. The auditor's responsibilities relating to fraud in an audit of financial statements. Yes, that's it. Similar questions, all of you can go through it later on. Now, detection of fraud.
Detection of fraud
Responsibility
is
of auditor.
detection of fraud is responsibility of an auditor. Explain.
Yeah,
Answer.
now tell me, the answer is yes and no, yes or no? By the way, who should prevent fraud? Who should make sure no employee of the company commit a fraud? Who is responsible for prevention?
Management, sir. Management.
Company only. Yes or no? Is auditor responsible?
No, sir.
Suppose company appointed Mr. Chakri as an auditor. Okay, I am the company director. Mr. Chakri as an auditor, I appointed you. One day before me, cashier is taking entire cash and leaving, and I was just keeping quiet. Why? What I was thinking is, okay, Chakri will come back later and he'll take care. Can I be like this?
No, sir.
No, obviously I should take all the measures to prevent. Company management is primarily responsible to prevent all the frauds and errors. Company management has to prepare financial statements. Sorry. Company management has to prepare financial statements in true and fair manner as per accounting standards. No mistake should be there in balance sheet P&L. Company should be run flourishing. I mean, company should run successfully. All the measures who should take? Directors. Auditor is just coming on behalf of shareholder, verify everything and give opinion. That's it. Auditor is just a secondary party. Okay. Company is a primary person to prevent fraud. Yeah, please read the D point.
B point. Management responsibility to prevent and detect fraud. As per SA 240, the primary responsibility for the prevention and detection of fraud rests with both those charged with governance of the entity and management.
What is the difference between TCWG and management, Chakri?
Those charged with
What is the difference between those charged with governance and management? I told you. I told in the first chapter also. Many times I told. Even recently someone asked me doubts also. And I'm clarifying.
management.
See, management includes TCWG generally. But if the organization is very big, top management are the one who will govern the company, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who will govern the company? Top management. They are the one who were charged with, who were held with responsibility of governing the company, and we call them as those charged with governance. Management are the one other than TCWG, middle level management, low level management. But for an outsider, management of the company, Reliance management have taken a decision means what? Other than Mukesh Ambani?
No, sir.
Generally, management means everybody. But
Yes,
if I specifically divide top management and normal management, then the word TCWG comes into picture. Are you clear?
yes, sir.
Yes. Hope everybody else also clear between these two. Yeah. Sudhir Kumar is saying those charged with governance is accountable, whereas normal low-level management is not accountable. Yes. Next, what are the responsibilities of auditor? Yeah, please read that.
Auditor responsibilities for detection of fraud and error. As per the SS, the auditor is responsible for obtaining reasonable assurance whether the financial statements taken as a whole are free from material misstatements.
Yeah, so auditor is responsible for obtaining reasonable assurance. See, first, you're not straight away saying the answer. If auditor do audit properly, not responsible. If auditor did not do the audit properly, responsible. See, Chakri, we are not giving direct answer.
Yes,
First, we
sir.
are saying, what is the responsible? Okay, you're asking me, is auditor responsible for fraud? First listen, what auditor is originally responsible for. Auditor is originally responsible for obtaining reasonable assurance whether financials are free from material misstatements. Yeah, fine. This is the first and foremost responsibility. Yeah, what is the second responsibility?
When obtaining reasonable assurance, the auditor is responsible for maintaining an attitude of professional skepticism throughout the audit.
So, second thing, auditor should be very questioning attitude should be there. He should be alert. Okay. Third one.
The risk of non-detecting a material misstatement resulting from a fraud is higher than the risk of non-detecting one resulting from error.
Which means detection risk for fraud. Detection risk for fraud is higher than detection risk for error. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Detection risk or risk of not detecting, both are same.
Yes,
Tell me, what is meant by detection?
identification.
Able to identify. Yes or no?
Yes,
Able
sir.
to identify. What is risk? Unable to identify. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Detection risk means what? Unable to identify.
Yes,
Now, this detection risk will be higher for fraud or error?
for fraud.
Detection risk will be high. Oh my God.
Yes, sir.
Detecting fraud is riskier than detecting error. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Or risk of not detecting. Risk of not detecting fraud is higher than risk of not detecting error. Not detecting error is easy. I mean, not detecting error, not detecting fraud. Not detecting fraud, chances are high.
Yes, sir.
Not detecting error, chances are low compared to fraud.
Yeah.
So the
Yes, sir.
sentence can be twisted in any way. They may ask you this question, true or false. I mean, MCQ, they can ask you which of the following statement is not true. They will write 4 sentences. Detection risk for fraud is lesser than detection risk for error. The statement is not true. Are you getting it? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
next one, D point.
The auditor's ability, the risk of auditors not detecting a material misstatement resulting from management fraud is greater than that for employee fraud.
Detection risk of management fraud is higher than
Detection risk of
employee fraud. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
In simple sentence. Yeah, next one.
The auditor's ability to detect a fraud depends upon factors such as.
Yeah, see, you are asking me, should I detect fraud or not? First, understand whether I can identify or not. It depends not only on my intelligence. It depends on some other factors. What are they?
The skillfulness of the perpetrator.
Perpetrator means the one who committed.
Yes, sir.
The one who committed, yeah.
The degree of collusion involved.
Now tell me, Chakri, if collusion is high, detection becomes risky or less risky?
Risky, sir. More risky.
Detection risk will also be high. If everyone, see, I can tell you, if cashier steals some cash loan, I can see that cash has been stolen based on ledger balance. Ledger balance is showing higher amount. Physically, this is not that much, which means some cash has been stolen. I will get it out. Suppose accountant, cashier, both of them colluded. Accountant passed a journal entry that cash outflow is there. This fellow has stolen the cash. Both of them shared in the background. Accounts balance, physical cash balance shows the same balance. Now tell me, is it easy to identify here?
Not easy to identify.
Yeah, if there is a collusion, if people collude, if people collude, fraud detection becomes difficult. Yeah, next.
The relative size of individual amounts manipulated.
See, if it is 10 rupees, 5 rupees, 100 rupees frauds, no, it's difficult. If it is 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh, 2 lakhs, 20 lakhs, this is easy to identify. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
The size of the amount is small, difficult to identify. Yeah, next.
Experience of person committed fraud.
If the person is more experienced, difficult. Yeah, next one.
Frequency of fraud committed.
Now tell me, when I can, if there are 100 frauds, I can easily identify 1 or 2, or if there is only 1 fraud, I can easily identify.
100 frauds.
If there are 100 frauds, I can identify them easily. Maybe some few of them I can identify. If there is only 1 fraud, the probability will reduce. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Next one.
The liability of the auditor for failure to detect fraud exists only when such fraud is clearly due to not exercising reasonable.
When such failure is clearly due to not exercising reasonable. Which means auditor acted negligently. Only then the liability of the auditor comes into picture. Otherwise, suppose G point,
if the auditor can prove with the help of his working papers, documentation that he has conducted the audit in a proper manner, he cannot be held responsible for the same.
That's it. Everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
That's it. You can say here, you can say in spite of good efforts, given by auditor. If auditor is unable to identify fraud, if the auditor is unable to identify fraud, he cannot be held responsible. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
He has given his good efforts, best efforts. Yeah, relevant to question.
While auditing XYZ Limited, the auditor was told by Mr. Mahesh, the CEO of company, that he would be responsible for fraud and error, if any, occurring in the books of accounts of the company.
So, like auditor, no, he was told by CEO that he is responsible for every fraud and error. Is that CEO correct?
The auditor was told.
The
Not exactly, sir.
The auditor was told by the CEO of the company, Mr. Mahesh, that every fraud and error, auditor must find out. Is it possible? Is it correct? No.
Yes, sir.
So you have to write the above answer. Yeah, next one, second point.
After the completion of statutory audit of ABC Limited, a fraud was detected at the office of the auditee. The management of the company alleged that there is a fraud on the part of the auditor to detect fraud, and the auditor would be responsible for not detecting fraud in the company.
So management of the company alleged the auditor that auditor failed to detect a fraud. Who is primarily responsible to prevent the fraud?
Management, sir.
Even then, who is primarily responsible to identify the fraud also?
Management.
Management have primary responsibility. You can't blame the auditor. Auditor, whether he detects or not only depends on auditor skill and all, it depends on so many other factors. You have to explain the entire answer. Are you clear? If at all this question is asked, it will be asked for 6 months. Next one.
Fraud can be committed by management. Overriding controls using such technique.
Overriding control means overriding their power. Yes or no? Overriding their power. See, accountant, cashier has only power to keep the cash properly. He doesn't have the power to use it for personal purposes. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What he will do, he will override. He will override his power and then use it for personal purpose, such as engaging complex transactions that are structured to misrepresent the financial position or performance. I will tell you that later. In view of the above circumstance, explain in briefly duties and responsibilities of auditor in case of MMS resulting from management fraud. Simply nothing but they are asking duties of the auditor relating to fraud. Same above point, right? Are you clear?
Sir.
That's it. That's it. Now tell me, why do people commit fraud? Why do a person commits a fraud? Tell me, Chakri, why do a person commit a fraud? See, fraud may be theft. Fraud may be theft. Or fraud may be wrong position, wrong balance sheet and wrong P&L position. Why are you committing?
And there is an opportunity.
Not only opportunity. First of all, you should have a need. No, pressure should be there. There must be a need for you. There must be a need for you. What is that need? How the need can be defined as pressure? Pressure. What is the pressure you are having? Maybe you are having personal financial obligation. You are having personal financial obligation that you have borrowed some loan. You have incurred so many losses personally. So now what you got is okay. Now because this pressure you have, somehow you are unable to bear this pressure. Now you are the cashier of the company. What is that? You are the cashier of the company. That's an opportunity for you right now. That's an opportunity. Now you say you have a need, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You have an opportunity because you are the cashier of the company. You are a cashier in a bank. You are having so much of personal pressure. You are having opportunity. Not only that, your attitude will support it. Your attitude will support. Yes or no? Your attitude will support. It's okay, we can take money. If your attitude supports, you have an opportunity, you have a pressure, fraud will commit. Fraud will be committed. Only pressure cannot create a fraud. Yes or no?
Yes,
Only
sir.
opportunity cannot. Do you think every bank cashier is doing a fraud?
No, sir.
They're having opportunity, but they may not have pressure. Or they have pressure and opportunity, but their attitude will not support. That's why attitude of the auditor should be good. That is educated by ethics. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, for all these opportunities, pressures, and all, these are all should be handled with the subject called ethics,
Ethics.
human behavior. So, but as an auditor, I must have the knowledge of these things, no?
Yes, sir.
I must have knowledge of what are the pressures the bank manager is facing. What are the opportunities that he has? Is he having an attitude of committing a fraud? If at all any of these symptoms I identify, I must be very careful. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So a fraud will be committed by any person, because he's having need, because he's getting an opportunity, because his attitude and morality supports it. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Only these three should be there. Only then it will execute. It will be executed. Otherwise, a fraud cannot be executed. If my attitude do not support whatever the pressure, whatever the opportunity, I won't commit a fraud. That's moral education.
Yes, sir.
If at all, even my attitude supports, I don't have access to cash. I'm not the cashier. I'm a customer. I'm a thief. I went to bank. Can I go to direct cash room and then get the cash back, cash whatever I want? No, there is no opportunity. I'm having pressure. I'm having attitude. No opportunity. I'm having opportunity. I'm having attitude, but there is no need for me. Even a thief steals only when there is a need.
Yes, sir.
So these are the reasons why. What are these called? These three called as fraud risk factors. What are these called as fraud risk factors? What are the factors that are making a person commit a fraud? Fraud risk factor. Why a person commit a fraud? Because of fraud risk factor. How many types of fraud risk factors? Pressures, opportunities, attitude.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Okay. So I will take a 5 minutes gap. I'll take 5 minutes gap.